Hello, my name is Joshua and thanks for tuning into theartofmoneysaving.com. This video is all about what is the difference between being a cheapskate and being someone that's thrifty or slightly frugal. Well, we're going to delve into this video. I'm going to draw on some personal experiences, so stay tuned. So, there's no denying it. I used to be a cheapskate until I discovered the personal finance community on YouTube and Instagram. Now that might sound a little bit counterproductive. Surely when you discover the personal finance community, you're wanting to save more money and become more frugal. Well, actually that's not the case for me. I was already extremely frugal. But what listening to personal finance podcasts and YouTube videos has helped me do is find more of a balanced behaviour. And I think this is really very important to achieve. The first record of Cheapskate comes from the 1890s. It's a combination of the word cheap, meaning stingy, and the word skate, which can be used as a negative slang term for a person who's generally disliked. It's an interesting definition. I quite appreciated how it broke it down into these two words. But not being liked is something that did concern me. And I think being a cheapskate implies that you're not generous with your time or generous with your spirit. And that's why I don't consider myself or don't want to be a cheapskate anymore. I would much rather describe myself as someone that's thrifty or someone that's mindful with their money. And I think this is something that's becoming more and more important to me as I get older and a little bit wiser as well, arguably. What are some examples of being a cheapskate? Well, the things that come to my mind is perhaps people that pick up a penny or a 2p piece on the floor. You don't know what you're picking up. It's all a bit dirty on the floor. And is it really worth picking up a 2p piece for the sake of it? Now, if it was a £1 coin, maybe that would be a different matter. First of all, there is this expression, look after the pennies and the pounds look after themselves. But is that phrase a little bit outdated? How much can we really get out of 1 or 2 pence? Now, I understand the motive of wanting to pick up the money, but on the other hand, it's on the floor, it's a bit dirty, and I think it's a bit too far-fetched for me. What about those folks that you go to the coffee shop with and they will never buy you a cup of tea or a coffee or a pint of beer at the pub? Now for me, again, this is something that I think is important. I understand that maybe you don't have enough money in your budget to do that for a particular month, or it's something you certainly don't want to do on a regular basis. But that said, it is important to have a generosity of spirit and to be generous with your time and your money. So budgeting for these things are sometimes really important. And when your friends are not as frugal or thrifty or cheapskate like you, sometimes these things get on people's nerves. And it's best, for the sake of yourself and for the sake of them, just to buy them a cup of tea. It doesn't cost the earth. And just be a bit generous with your money. So why the change of heart? Well, I used to be both the penny picker and the person that didn't buy the round of drinks at the pub. So I can understand both sides of the coin. But that said, when learning more about the FIRE community, investing over the long term and most aggressively saving, I do think it's very important to have a sense of generosity in your spirit. And I've felt deep offence from friends and family when you show this unwillingness to offer something. And that's not to say that you have to do it every time, but a generosity of spirit offers and it says, look, I know this perhaps isn't within my budget for the month, but I can do this. And that's the decision that I've made for myself. I know my outgoings and I know my budget very well. When I'm able to give these very small things to friends and family, they really appreciate it, and it's something that I want to continue more going into my 30s and into my 40s, and hopefully then retiring in my 50s. So that's definitely one thing that has changed with time, but also one of the things that I've noticed is the type of quality products that I choose to buy. Before, when I was a cheapskate, I would always look for the cheapest possible version, but when I'm looking for things to buy now, I'm more thinking about the quality of the item. Where does that item fit in my life? Is it something of value? Is it something I want to use for the long term? For example, for my 30th birthday, I bought a very, very nice watch. I bought it brand new. Yes, there were other watches available. I could have got one for £10, but I decided to get a beautiful Swiss watch. I wear it for special occasions, and I really remember that's what I got for my 30th birthday, and it's something that's special to me. I enjoy that it's beautiful quality and that there's a story to tell with that item. So this is the difference for me between being thrifty and well-minded about the type of purchases that I make versus always going for the cheapest option. There are, however, still some examples in my life where I am a little bit of a cheapskate. Not too much, I hasten to add, but nevertheless they are quite funny. And I always refuse to pay for a service in which I go to a pub, a bar or a restaurant and they charge to hang up your coat. This is not acceptable in my opinion. It's a step too far. I feel exploited, and I will simply stand there proudly with my coat on my arm, and that is that. And the next one is something that I find myself doing quite a lot when driving, and that's avoiding tolls. Now, I will do anything to avoid paying the Dartford crossing, for example, but sometimes I just find myself there, and you know what? Sometimes it's better to just say, you know what, I'm going to pay the £3 or whatever it is for the toll and just accept it and go for it. So that's still one that I'm working on. What about you? How have you found your behaviour changing when discovering the personal finance community? I'd like to know whether that means you've become more severely frugal or whether you become a bit more generous or open-minded with your money. It's interesting that we often think about discovering personal finance always being about becoming more and more frugal. Well, for me, it has been the opposite. It's been an enlightening experience and something that I'm wanting to continue. But let me know what your journey has been like in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video, Cheapskates. My name is Joshua, and if you are able to press the like button, subscribe and the bell and all of that other kind of stuff, helps other people discover this channel and therefore get the message out about personal finance. And also, I'm just intrigued to know whether other people are cheapskates or whether they're just frugal. Anyway, look forward to seeing you next time. Bye now.